Out here making some diddy poles this afternoon. Crimping the ends down. Boiling some water. Getting them soft. Crimping them down with a pair of pliers. Trying to get a wedge on there where we can drive these babies into some soft mud. It doesn't take much. I just had to freshen up our pot, so not quite back to boiling temperature yet. I believe it's hot enough now. Let's see what happens here. Whoa! Don't want to get that on you.
Huh?
I said you don't want to get that on you. That's hot. Get it nice and hot. Get it real soft. Make it easy to bend. We're just crimping the end down about 6 inches worth. That's what she said. So the idea here is trying to make a wedge on this one end so we can drive it into the ground. Some soft mud. I'll probably take my sawzall and make me a sharper point here once we get them all smashed. Just a good start here. I'm sure y'all seen these diddy poles. There's a lot of them out there for sale. The really good ones are the solid fiberglass poles, but I didn't feel like spending that kind of money on something like this. We're gonna give this 3/4 inch PVC pipe a try. I've seen people use it, so I know it works. Save us a lot of money doing this yourself. It don't have to be pretty. Stick it in some cold water. All right, we've got our pole here. You're gonna need a drill with a bit. Your bit just needs to be big enough to get your line through there using this braided string here. I'm just going to drill one hole. I'm not going to go through both sides. I'm just going through one side here. About 1 inch from the top is all I'm doing here. We're going to take our line. Running it through that hole we just drilled. I got a pair of needle nose pliers. Reach it up in there, grab that line. Then all you want to do is tie you a knot on this end. You can tie any knot you want. The idea here is to have a knot big enough so it won't slip back through that hole. That's all we're trying to accomplish here. So any knot that you want. For these, I'm doing the overhand knot and leaving myself a loop out here on the end. And I'll show you here in a second how that's going to be beneficial. So get your knot tied. So all your weight, your fish is going to be pulling on this line and that knot against that hole. As long as your knot's big enough, it's not going to slip through that hole that you've drilled. I'm going to take off a couple feet here. We'll go ahead and cut this, and we're going to put our swivel right here. If y'all know anything about catfish, you know that they love to swirl. Anytime we can help that by putting a swivel on there, you're going to be glad you did. Just an old clinch knot. Get that good and tight. And anytime you cut this string, this braided line, you're going to want to burn the end. If not, it's going to come unraveled on you. So be sure you have a lighter handy when you're dealing with this stuff. All right. Got our swivel on there. Now these poles, they're 10 foot long. So I'm going to make these lines, as long as we make them the length of this pole, we know they're going to be at least 10 foot long. And that's what I'm using for my measurement. Get you another knot tied. This is going to be your leader line where you're going to have your hook at. Get this on there. Get that good and tight. Don't forget, burn that tag in. Get that good and melted. All right. Get my knife. We're gonna make these, like I said, 10, 12 foot long. We may have to adjust these once we're on the water. We'll see. I'll show you that trick here in a second. I'm not sure what size. I think these are about maybe a number 6 circle hook. I'm going to do the same knot here, just a clinch knot. Get that moistened up a little bit. Trim that tag line up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure you burn that. Right, we've got our hook on there. Our swivel. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to put my weights on. So I've got these are designed to go on your fishing line, pole fishing, like a regular Carolina rig. You put your line in that little plastic piece there. I don't really trust those. These are pretty cheap. I don't know how much those would stand up to a big catfish pulling on them. I'm just going to cut that part off. And we're going to hook this dude, undo it, both ends. I'm going to hook it straight to my swivel, to the top eye of the swivel. You've essentially got a Carolina rig here. Come back, you can attach about any size weight you want to that little clip right there. So what I do, I run my hook all the way down. I'm going to stick it in the end of my pole here. Work your way up, keeping it tight. And if you'll remember, I left myself a loop on this other end here. So my hook that I'm going to use for my weight, I got it on my swivel. So this other end that I've got my loop to, I'm going to pull the slack, hook it there, go ahead and clip that down, and then that's how I'm going to travel with them. I got my hook in the other end, line's tight. That way it's not going to flop around and get all crazy and go everywhere while you're transporting them. So that's what we want to do there. You can also use that to adjust your line depending on how deep the water is or the angle of your pole. So here's how I envision these things working. You stick that end in the mud. Obviously they're probably not going to be sticking this far straight up. They're going to be more at an angle, but you see up there where we put our line in the hole, you got your swivel about probably 2 or 3 foot down. Just making a Carolina rig is all we're doing here. And you got your hook down here. And these are 3/4 inch PVC pipe. And as you can tell, these suckers have got plenty of play in them, so I think they're going to work just fine. That's probably more like it actually right there. I can just imagine a big old bluegill or a brim on the end of that thing swimming around. Big old flatheads are going to come up, grab a hold of that sucker, and the fight's going to be on. A few bush lights later, we're going to come see what's on the other end of this bad boy. Well, I hope you've learned something, or at least I've given you an idea of what you might do to make your own bank poles. So, got a few of them made up here. Now, it's time to hit the water, and hopefully I can show you how well these work with a big old flathead on the other end. As always, like and subscribe, and hope to see you again.